New show. First episode. It's going to be fun. Okay. Oh, hey, man. Hey, new show. Huh?
Yeah.
Ready to start shooting or what?
Pretty much just waiting for Sully.
Oh, yeah, we need the bird. Okay, I got it. I'll go find him. Sully! Sully! Come on, man. We got to shoot the show. Sully! Where is this bird? God, where is Sully? We're late. We got to shoot this show, man. Sully, where are you? Come, first episode. We can't find the... Where is he? The producers are going to kill me. They said 9 o'clock. Sully! Where's this bird? Sully, come on. We're on a schedule here. You are killing me, man. Sully! Seriously, where are you, man? Sully, come on. We are so late. Come on, Sully, let's go. We got to shoot the show. You knew about this. It's the worst. Come on, get over here. You know, this is ridiculous. Taking a shower. Well, hey, everybody, and welcome back to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Doesn't it seem like it's been quite some time? Welcome inside the belly of the beast here. It's time for Monsters OT, presented by University Hospitals. My name is Tony Brown. I'm the broadcaster for the Monsters. And what's Monsters OT? Well, I think we're going to find out together today on our maiden voyage here. Coming up later in the show, we'll have a chat courtesy of Marathon with our good buddy Brad Thiessen, Monsters goaltender, Monsters goaltending coach, part-time broadcaster. We will also take a look at a new segment on the show, Monster Memories, presented by HDS Brand Solutions a little bit later on. But first, let's get started with what we're calling headlines, and they come to you courtesy of Anthem. TV. Okay, let's launch right into our headlines, and the first headline is a pretty big one. We saw it announced recently that the American Hockey League has changed their target date for the start of the 2020-2021 season. At this point, I guess it'll be the 2021 season, as February the 5th is the new target date for the AHL to start their new campaign. Now, that's just a target. It's written in pencil, but that is what the AHL is trying to put together in terms of their return to play. On to our next headline. Well, we've had a lot of information here recently emerge as to, who's going to be playing on the Monsters this year. We've had a number of signings at the NHL level, which we'll talk about in a moment. But first, let's get to the AHL contracts that the Monsters have currently signed with players for the coming season. In terms of returning guys, well, there are 4 of them on AHL deals from last year and years past, back in Cleveland this year, and some really true fan favorite players too. You got Brett Gallant, who has endeared himself to Monster fans in his 5 years with the club. He's back for his 6th season here in Cleveland, as is the guest in our Marathon interview a little bit later on today, Brad Thiessen. He's back not only as a Monsters goaltender, but also as a goaltending coach, and hopefully we'll twist his arm and get him up into the broadcast booth a time or two this coming season as well. Also returning on AHL deals, Justin Scott, who is now all the way up to 2nd in the Monsters' all-time franchise record list in terms of games played. So he's going to have a chance to become the new Mr. Monster this season. And also back for his 3rd year with the club is Dylan Simpson on an AHL contract too. Simpson is a consummate leader both on and off the ice. He's very valuable in the dressing room and extremely reliable on the ice. So good news having him back this year. Also a whole host of players signing AHL contracts, players that will be new to Cleveland this season. Those guys include Zach Jordan, who's coming out of the University of Nebraska, Omaha. Wyatt Newpower is coming out of the University of Connecticut in Hockey East. Tyler Secura was a big signing for the Monsters, an experienced AHL leader, most recently with the Rockford Ice Hogs, a productive offense-generating player, and a really interesting signing for the Monsters this offseason. Matthew Struthers comes aboard out of the OHL ranks. Also, Carson Meyer has a lot of people excited. He's a guy from the Columbus area, played his college hockey first at Miami of Ohio, then at Ohio State, and he was a draft pick of the Blue Jackets, signs an AHL deal to start his pro career with the Monsters this year. Also joining the Monsters on the blue line, Thomas Schmidt, an experienced AHL defender who comes over most recently from the Springfield Thunderbirds. And of course, Adam Haluka has signed as well, a former San Jose Sharks draft choice. He's an experienced guy, split last season between the SHL in Sweden and the KHL in Russia, and he's back in the American Hockey League this year with the Cleveland Monsters. Moving along, our next headline has to do with recent Cleveland players who are under contract with the Blue Jackets for the coming year. So these are guys who have played in Cleveland but are under contract with Columbus and are going to have a chance to make that NHL club out of Blue Jackets training camp. Familiar names, lots of them in the forward department: Stefan Matteau, Zach Dalpe, Trey Fix-Wolanski, Nathan Gerbe, Kevin Stenlund, Calvin Turcoff, Ryan McInnes, and Cole Sherwood, all recent Monsters players under contract with Columbus for the coming year. So depending on what happens with them fulfilling their NHL dreams out of training camp, some of those names could be back here in Cleveland, and I know Monsters fans are excited about that. On the blue line, a couple of really good players in that same situation with the Jackets under contract at the NHL level. Gabriel Carlsson, who took a huge step last year with a massive campaign, and you speak of having a great year. How about the other guy, Adam Clendenning, who's in this category for the Monsters and the Blue Jackets? Clendenning, an all-star, one of, simply put, the most productive AHL defenseman from an offensive perspective that there is right now in the league. So those are great. Also, Matisse Kivlenieks and Vaini Vehviläinen, two young goaltenders who have played a lot for Cleveland the last couple of years. Vehviläinen coming over last year and really got a lot of attention. Of course, Matisse Kivlenieks took a big step, played some games for the Blue Jackets last season. Both those guys under contract with the Jackets, and I know that is something that both Columbus and Cleveland fans are really excited about. Moving on, also under contract with the Blue Jackets, our final headline. These are players that have not played in Cleveland before, but potentially could be in the mix at that level or perhaps in the AHL with the Monsters this year. Gavin Bayreuther, signed by the Blue Jackets earlier in the free agency period, a reliable AHL defenseman who's been with the Texas Stars in recent seasons. A couple of years ago made his NHL debut with Dallas. Also, Tim Burney, promising young blue liner coming over from the Swiss League, potentially might have some sort of a role in the Blue Jackets North American operation next year. Jake Christensen, a very talented puck-moving defenseman coming out of the Western Hockey League in the Everett Silvertips. Also Cliff Pooh, who was acquired in a trade from Florida in exchange for Marcus Nutavara by the Blue Jackets a couple of weeks back. He's another guy on an NHL deal that has AHL experience, might be in the mix this year. So there are a lot of options for Mike Eaves, not only at the AHL level, but the Monsters head coach and his staff are going to build around those AHL contracts. And it looks like there's a lot of bodies that some of them familiar might have a chance to play significant chunks of their season here in Cleveland. That's our headlines, brought to you by Anthem, and with that, we'll step aside. When we come back, more of the first ever edition of Monsters OT, presented by University Hospitals, comes your way on SportsTime Ohio. Stay tuned.
At University Hospitals, our sports medicine experts bring science and compassion together to develop personalized care plans for athletes at every level, from Pee-wee to pro. The same experts who care for the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Cleveland Ballet keep our local athletes performing at their best. Schedule an appointment at uhsports.org. University Hospitals, the science of health, the art of compassion.
Hi, my name is Kyle, and I'm a pharmacist at Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a daughter, a wife, and a mother. I'm your neighbor, part of the community just like you. Drug Mart is part of the community too. They have been for more than 50 years. Now, more than ever in these challenging times, your neighborhood Drug Mart pharmacy, all of us, are here to help you. You can rely on us to go the extra mile, whatever you need, every time. I know in my heart that I can lean on my neighbors, and you can lean on Discount Drug Mart.
Are you getting this, Bobby?
Yep, the red light's on.
Hello, Internet. I'm Helen from Westerville, Ohio, And I've got a score to settle with Musselman's applesauce. So good. And that's the problem. It tastes just like mine. You have some explaining to do, Musselman's. I know homemade recipe theft when I taste it.
Musselman's applesauce. You'll think it's homemade too.
Welcome back to Monsters OT, presented by University Hospitals. Tony Brown back with you here, and it's time for our marathon interview. And how lucky are we? On short notice, we've got the one and only Brad Thiessen with us today, and of course, coach, player, broadcaster. He does it all for the Monsters. We're happy to have him. Brad, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Great to see a familiar face there, Tony. Good to be here and doing well. We're hanging in there.
It sounds great. I understand today you and the family out at the zoo, taking in some of the nice weather today. How are you, the kids, your wife? How's everybody holding up during this really weird kind of limbo time right now in the hockey business?
Yeah, it definitely is a different time. I think now that our oldest is in kindergarten, he's in school 5 days a week. He's involved in some of the youth hockey around in the area. The other two are at home a lot of times with me. My wife's working, so now that we're finding the routine, it helps, but definitely not the same as being in the middle of a season right now.
Yeah, it is not the same as normal, that's for sure. But one thing that our Monster fans can set their watches to is you in a Cleveland Monsters uniform, and that's great news that you're back for year number 6 with the Monsters, and coming back as sort of that similar hybrid player coaching role this year. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's just start with, 6 years in a long career spent in this city. What makes Cleveland such a great place for you and your family to be?
Yeah, it's really lucky and thankful to be able to be back for another season with the organization. I think, as you get older, especially as a minor league hockey player, it's easy to start bouncing around from city to city, and to be able to be welcomed back each year to Cleveland is special, and our family has found Cleveland as home for us. It's nice to be able to be in one spot, be able to raise the kids here in one place where they can grow up with friends and different, or be able to be at the same school and same church and same hockey group and all those kind of things. So that's important to us as a family, and be able to have a spot here with the Monsters. We're really excited to be back for another year.
Yeah, we're excited to have you back. It's sort of this role you have. It's not just being able to step in and play when you need to play, but it's also having a day-to-day hand in guiding the development of the young goaltenders within this Columbus system. So as you're sort of dipping your toe into coaching a little bit here these last couple of years, if you could just maybe expand a bit on your relationship with young guys like Matiss Kivlenieks or Veini Vehviläinen, and how for you, how gratifying it is to work with them and to see them improve as teammates, but also as players that are trying to develop.
Yeah, it's a really cool opportunity I've been given here to be able to start my coaching career kind of thing, as well as being able to play. But being able to be alongside a guy like Matiss, who came into the league as a 19, 20-year-old out of junior hockey in the USHL. Just really an immature guy who was kind of relying on his talent and wasn't really sure how to adjust to the pro game, and just all the struggles that he went through for the first year or two, and being able to be alongside him. A lot of it is on the ice, working with his technique and things like that, but there's so much off the ice that goes into just being a pro hockey player and being involved in that environment, trying to get to the NHL, but still trying to grow as a person and as a goaltender, and to be able to see him go through all those steps and be able to play in the NHL this past year was really cool to be able to see and be able to know that you had a hand in it. And even now with Veini Vehviläinen was coming over here, it was a different kind of circumstance coming over to North America for the first time last year from Finland, and be able to, a completely different, set of circumstances for him, trying to help him adjust to a North American game, being able to just help him along in that area. And even now, he's back in Finland playing, but I'm still able to watch his video and talk with him about how things are going over there. So, that helps me too in a time like this where you feel like you're useless, but you're not doing much. But being able to still, have a hand in trying to help these guys along is fun.
All right, hold that thought, Brad. We are going to be back in just a minute with more Monsters OT, so stay tuned. We're presented by University Hospitals. Welcome back to Monsters OT, presented by University Hospitals. Time now for more of our marathon interview with the one and only Brad Thiessen. Brad is back with us. I want to know for you, too. I mean, you're growing into this coaching role a little bit. It's a new area of the industry that you've been exploring. Just personally, what are you getting out of this situation, and how is working with Mike Eves sort of, helped move you along, not just as a player, but a coach?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, ever since it was first kind of brought up to me by Bill Zito, who's gone now to Florida, but he was he was joking around the first time we talked about it. He told me he was going to put Reggie Dunlop on my helmet for that season, but it was something that I don't think there was any rules or anything that was really told to me about how to go about this role. It was really just you're going to be right there alongside these guys and try and help them out and run goalie drills and watch video with them and stuff while still, being able to play if you're needed. So it's been, everyone on both sides has been so helpful to me, both the player side and the coach's side, because you're trying to kind of play the fence a little bit. You want to be part of the guys on the team so that when you are needed to play, you kind of feel like you're a part of things, but you're also, I'm also welcome into the coach's room and being able to be a part of meetings and things like that to see how things go on that side of things. So just trying to be as flexible and as adaptable as I can, going from back and forth to different roles like that. But everyone's kind of welcomed me on both sides, and that's helped me a lot in that role.
You got any Coach Brad moments where you sort of throughout this process have realized, oh wow, I really am behind the bench now a little bit? Have you had any moments like that have sort of woken you up to the reality of this transition sort of in your career?
I think it's most of the time, when you're involved in maybe some coaching meetings or things like that, and things are being said or things that are being talked about that maybe as a player you wouldn't think are going on, and that stays in the room there, and you can't take that with you into the players' room. So being able to be trusted, to be able to be in those meetings and things like that is something that I don't take for granted, and appreciate that.
Well, Brad, it's been great catching up with you, man. It's good to see you. We got to get you out of here on this topic, though. A little bit later in the show, we're kicking off a new segment, or dropping the puck on a new segment, right, called Monster Memories. And the first memory is obviously got to be the Calder Cup Championship. You were there. There's a great photo that is so fun to look back on with you and a bunch of other guys in the hallway outside the dressing room watching on a monitor as the championship moments played out. But I want to go back way earlier in that season, too, because you had a massive hand in getting the Monsters into the playoffs, stepping in when both Cleveland goaltenders at the time, Anton Forsberg, Jonas Korpisalo, unavailable. And so you stepped in, and honestly, to hear most people tell it, and the way I remember it, is you saved that season. And so when you think back, not just to that moment, but when you think back to that season, what does it all mean to you at this stage in your career?
Yeah, to be honest, I remember that season, going into that season. And I was almost done with hockey after the previous season. That just hockey wasn't really all that much fun anymore. I didn't have a great year the year before, and was given an opportunity to keep playing by signing a contract with Cleveland, but knowing that I was going to be in the East Coast League in Cincinnati, and I knew that was going to be my last year playing, and then I was going to go, hopefully transition into something else. And so I was really going into that season knowing I was playing in the East Coast League after not being in that league for a long time, and just going to have fun and just really enjoy being able to play hockey, and be a part of a group of guys for one more season before I kind of went off and did something else. And I was having a blast in Cincinnati that season. We were really enjoying it, having a good time. I think maybe December was the first time I got called up, and I remember just being like super nervous about being back in the American League and just like being around. I played with Brian Craig before for a few years in Wilkes-Barre, and he was the captain here then, and being back up here, and then just trying to take that same mentality into Cleveland that I had in Cincinnati. It was just, I didn't know how long I was going to play the game for, so just enjoy it for what it was, and it kind of took us on a wild ride there for a few months. I was able to play a lot with injuries, and just taking that mentality into every game was just really helping me as a goaltender, and turning that into that first year into coming up on year 6. So it was a real blessing for me, and a lot of fun to look back on that season.
Yeah, absolutely, and a real blessing to have you to step in when the team needed you that year for all of us in the Monsters universe, and it's been a great ride ever since. So, that's Brad Thiessen for you, willing to do whatever it takes. Step in at a moment's notice to fill in on an interview. He's there to help you out on the radio broadcast. He can step in and play in the game. He can do anything you need. He's a coach now, too, and he's back for another year in Cleveland. Thank goodness for that. Brad, thank you so much for the time. Great to see you. All the best to you and the family, man.
Yeah, same to you guys. Good to be on, Tom.
He does it all, folks. Coach, broadcaster, player, interview guest. He's the best in the business. Brad Thiessen, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. With that, we will step aside, come back right after this with more Monsters OT on SportsTime Ohio.
At university hospitals, our sports medicine experts bring science and compassion together to develop personalized care plans for athletes at every level, from Pee-wee to pro. The same experts who care for the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Cleveland Ballet keep our local athletes performing at their best. Schedule an appointment at uhsports.org. University Hospitals, the science of health, the art of compassion.
Winning championships is truly something special, and we all experienced that back in 2016 with the Calder Cup title. But here in Cleveland, we've got 10 Calder Cups to our credit. It's really not something you need to constantly be reminding people about or something you have to gloat about or anything like that. I mean, Cleveland's got 10 Calder Cups after all. And in 2016, something else happened that summer too. Anyway, in 2016, it was a really memorable experience. In Monster Memories this time around, we're going to take a look back at the 2016 Calder Cup Championship presented by HDS Brand Solutions. Enjoy it, everybody.
Werenski on the right side on his offhand, and out top it's Eminger. Pulled back to Werenski, has it, shoots one, bounces off a man, 5 seconds left. Werenski, another jam on the shot, turning and firing. They score! They score! The Monsters score! The dream was so real, it had to come true. And after 52 years of waiting, Mr. Calder, welcome home to Cleveland.
It just never gets old, does it? Oh, I've probably heard that call about infinity times since 2016, but I don't know about you guys, it always takes me back to that moment, to that run, to that team. Boy, it was a lot of fun to be a part of. I know we all count ourselves lucky. So as we continue here with our Monster Memories presented by HDS Brand Solutions, we wanted to take a look at the 5, count them 5, that's it, members of that 2016 Monsters Calder Cup Championship team that are still with the Blue Jackets or Monsters organization. Of course, Brett Gallant and Brad Thiessen. As we learned earlier, Brad played a huge role on that team that year. If not in the playoffs, he played a massive role in getting the team there through a rough patch in the middle of the campaign. And then Brett Gallant, I always joke with him, he appeared in one of those playoff games in 2016, and he got on the score sheet. He had an assist, so like he tells me in his career, He's a point-per-game player in the playoffs, so let's not forget that. Some other important guys still with the Blue Jackets who are on that Calder Cup championship team. Dean Kukin, who has really quietly emerged as a super reliable NHL defenseman for the Jackets, such a smooth skater with a really bright future. He's still around, of course, in Columbus, as is Zach Werenski. You might have heard of him. He's, only one of the finest defensemen in all of the National Hockey League and therefore on planet Earth right now. And I think I'm forgetting, Oliver Bjorkstrand. How could we forget him? Bjorky, of course, scored that cup-clinching goal in overtime in Game 4 against the Hershey Bears, and since then has absolutely blossomed at the NHL level with such a bright career ahead of him with the Blue Jackets. It's so much fun seeing guys succeed in Cleveland and then succeed in Columbus, and right there you've got a couple of huge names that were a part of the championship here with the Monsters and hope to be a part of the Stanley Cup championship with the Blue Jackets before all is said and done in their careers. All right, that's it for Monster Memories presented by HDS Brand Solutions. And can you believe it? How time flies. That's it for the first episode ever of Monsters OT. We've got a lot of folks to thank. First of all, our partners, University Hospitals, of course, Anthem, HDS Brand Solutions, and our friends at Marathon. There's also some people to thank, too. To Brad Thiessen for taking some time to be a part of the show today. We say thank you. We say thanks to Dave McElhatton, Mark Zaremba, and Chris Thomas for their absolutely vital contributions to this show. And most of all, we thank all of you guys for hanging in there and helping get the Monsters back on the ice at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse just as soon as we possibly can by masking up and staying safe going forward. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, on SportsTime Ohio. I'm Tony Brown, signing off on Monsters OT, presented by University Hospitals. See you next time.